was me. What's there to see if I look closer, 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 closer. Where are you going? And what are you thinking at all? Your eyes show nothing more. That's another subject, getting closer to UFO disclosure. And that's August the 23, I'm saying that, early August 2023. I just think there's no putting that genie back in the bottle. No way. And it was also an excuse to plan Jacob. Definitely an excuse to do that. Right, it's all separate from what I'm talking about here. The liberal left and the propaganda matrix. Because, and I haven't made any notes for this. I say that because in the past I wouldn't be able to even bloody do this sort of thing without taking notes. The liberal left are propagandized as well as the right. I sometimes think because I've stemmed from there, I'm almost suspicious of myself, and other people might be suspicious of me as really being there when I'm not, because the liberal left are propagandized, just like the right are propagandized, and it's all one big state superstructure. So like the right are propagandized maybe by divide and rule on social issues, so that they've got this like working class, right, is therefore split, because they've got some who, they all want redistribution of income and wealth, but rather than all being together, some of them might be on anti-black or anti-gay stuff, might split off, so it splits the vote, and then they vote for the right, perhaps. But it's all within one state superstructure, though, so it doesn't make any difference to the divide and rule, big, massive inequality that exists. They're all in that together, and the liberal left are in that too. The liberal left, therefore, are split. I saw like the left is split because people like me see through it, so I withdraw my support from it, because they're just otherwise you're just part of this state superstructure, and then what's the point of that? So like you find yourself thinking, damn, like people that like that maybe it's like Barack Obama or Andrew Yang in the States, like they're like I can see why, but it's not the point. There's no point liking someone in politics just because of their character and personality. If they're going to do anything, it's like that like at the start of this video, I was playing the cause. Right? It's okay to like them for like because you like them, because they're in a personality sort of thing, pop culture. But in politics, to play the same game, that's not its place. It shouldn't be its place. It damn well shouldn't be. And so for example, I imagine Democrats in the States, certainly Liberal Democrats in the UK, have an overwhelming support for Barack Obama. And it's purely, I can tell it's because of his personality. If I can get that up on here, then YouGov UK, because it just gives the overall percentage of UK population's favourability towards Obama. You can also split it on the YouGov page who people vote for politically. And I recall that the Dem score is massively high for him. Just trying to get it on now. His overall UK score is 72% favourable. And when we go to show more data, I can click down. Yeah, click on politics. It is. With Conservative voters in the UK, Obama scores 60%, Labour 78%, Liberal Democrat 93%. Right? I'm claiming that it's a blurry picture, so I don't think I can prove I just read that, but I'll try. Hang on. Oh, no. No, the picture's terrible, isn't it? Well, you can check it for yourself anyway. On YouGov UK, it's easy to enter one. Yeah, that's clearly not. The Dems in UK haven't studied it. They're not to that extent, so they're just like going by his personality. It's a personality contest, that. Definitely a personality thing. So, and on the Liberal left, they are keeping out the changes we need. This split of the left from the establishment left to the anti-establishment left. The establishment Liberal left are keeping out the changes we need. They're doing an awful thing on empire, the US empire. They all support the wars. They're keeping out all the redistribution of power and income. Everything needs to be done is kept out by them. So I can't support them. That's in a UK context, can't support them. I know I gave Obama context there as an example there. It's the same in the States anyway. So, for example, in the States, I'll pick 5 people I think are good. Cornel West, Caitlin Johnston, she's Australian but she lives in the States. AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Andrew Yang on UBI. Right. Take Andrew Yang out of it because more controversial about what his overall politics is. The other 4 are really good, but they're basically they're kind of like politically homeless. I mean, Sanders and AOC are in the Democrats, but they're going to be so frustrated. must be. Cornel West isn't in the Democrats. He describes Obama as a Rockefeller Republican. Basically, Obama's a Dem, which is probably how the Dems like him, but these split off. These are the ones who stopped the progress while calling themselves progressives. It's insane. But they're propagandized. They're totally herded into these categories. Now, a lot of the Labour Party in the UK are basically Lib Dems. So they're herded into a very similar cage. And it's got to stop. We've got to get out of this. We're so close to the Ken Clarks, Dominic Eve, Roddy Stewart, Michael Heseltine. I can't tell the difference between them. I can't tell the difference between the Liberal left and them. And they get criticised for the same thing. But the state superstructure incorporates all of these as one. And it's just so frustrating. We have got to get out of this. I'm just thinking like this of how we get out of this. We've got to do it somehow. And there's a lack of ideas for me. There's a lack of ideas. I just don't see where the ideas are coming from. I've checked out, like on those people I gave as examples there, right? Cornel West, he's got a party. He's going to probably take about 4 or 5% away from the Democrats, right? So you're not a Democrat, also. What is that a bad thing? I don't know. Like, He's not going to get anywhere, though. He's not going to get anywhere. That's my point. Caitlin Johnston, she's on Twitter. She's probably the one I've seen the most of in the last year. I have. Right. Being's very territorial. Anyway, she's met a good right winger. Or warmonger. So, Caitlin Johnston, yeah, she's frustrated. She's always going on about how you have to do cooperation rather than competitive politics. She goes on about propaganda. I agree with her on almost everything. But she has no ideas about how to get out of this, I don't think. I just think she's completely clueless. And I think that these best thinkers, I want to see them come up with something that works, that would work. Alexandra Cortez AOC, I'm pretty new to her. She seems like a left liberal who's going to be forever frustrated on the left of the Democrats. Yeah, that's what she seems to me. The other one, Bernie Sanders, ditto, exactly the same as AOC, except he's a lot older, so he's put up with this for 50 years. You see, if I'd made this video 50 years ago, impossible, the technology didn't exist, but I would have been pretty much right about the frustration. Because AOC might be that frustrated person. We've got to do something about this. It's overdue. John Lennon was going on about this in the bloody 70s. He was saying, he was saying there's something we've got to do. This can't go on. We can't just keep going on and on and on and on and on and on and on about. You know what I mean? We just have to break free from it. His attitude was a bit like Caitlin Johnston. He was very much focused on the anti-war stuff. His action was like peace activism. He made some progress because he was rare for someone I support in terms of he had access to megaphones in the same way that the state superstructure has megaphones with its mass news media. However, Lennon never made the breakthrough necessary for me. Now, of course, he was assassinated, so there's a whole load of history that he would have had that he doesn't have because he was assassinated. So, but his frustrations are clear to see. He was against violent revolution, and while there was others who agreed with what he said, who supported revolution that was violent because, some of them would have given up on Lennon's peace activism as though they'd seen it as not working sufficiently, while Lennon would have opposed their violence because he would have seen it as, well, one, he's a pacifist and doesn't want to see people screaming in the streets. Two, he'd have thought the state would win because they've got the army at the end of the day. And three, Lennon feared that a violent revolution would result in power tripping, power hoarding in the same way by the people that are meant to be on his side. They'd take over the state and just become the very thing he was against in the first place. And when you see the way now how the liberal left pretend to be something different, while also at the same time wanting that power for themselves, It is. That's what they're doing. They're just wanting power and wanting to take over the state superstructure while retaining all its vast inequality. We've got to break free from this because it just sucks so much. It sucks so much. I mean, I think my idea would have something to do with the internet. I mean, because it's got hope there, but the split is still visible online. So now I'm thinking when Keir Starmer gets into power, we have got to absolutely destroy the guy from the left. That is our opportunity. We must not let him just do what Blair did and have bloody years in power, just being an inch. Even if I don't even know if Blair was an inch to the left of what Major would have been, I just see him as the same. But then one calls himself a liberal conservative, one would say he's on the liberal left. They're just the same, right? So we need to destroy Starmer when he gets into power. Destroy him completely. Now this has to be done. It's gone on too long. Too long. And remember, it's about things like housing. It's about things like universal basic income. It's about things like access, getting more working class into university. It's about justice. It's totally about justice. It's got to happen. And it's the only thing I agree with the right on, The only thing is the market as a distribution of goods across a wide area. That's it. Everything else, like the Lib Dems are unfortunately traditional Tories with spin. They're not vulgar racists or misogynists or anything like that. But that power inequality structure on income, on basically on bread, that is where they've got a problem. And also liberal left, including the Lib Dems, are warmongers, which is worse than racism. It could end the bloody world. So on stuff to do with money and weapons, they're like right wing with spin. They're like they've got the liberal left, which goes beyond the Lib Dems, includes Labour as well, for instance, have a good compared to the Conservatives, have a good brand image, but they are in that state superstructure. They're in that warmongering military state that could end the world, and on income they're a disaster. They're part of the inequality, the vast inequality state superstructure, and they're in with the Conservatives on that. This has got to end. I am not going to be a Lib Dem for spin, for branding. It's stupid. It's horrible politics, and it's power mad, and it preserves the state superstructure that I'm against. So now I'm out of that. I want to destroy the liberal left. They're part of the state superstructure, and they are with the Conservatives. It's a right-wing, vast, ugly, poisonous state superstructure. We've got to kill it off once and for all. End of the video.